course. Good morning, everyone. We get started with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. David, what you said first.
Father, we come to you asking you to watch over this meeting today, watch over our county employees as they go about their business throughout the week. And we just ask that you help our commissioners make decisions that are according to your will. In Jesus' name, amen.
I've read the minutes. I'll make a motion to approve them as written. Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion, we pay the bills in the amount of $75,809.26. That's my motion.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Got the sheriff's report, and Missy sent an email. She can't make it this morning, but she's got a report here.
Sheriff's report, the total prisoners 42, farmed out 0, total farmed in 18, 911 calls 114, jail contacts 4,253, total calls for service 541, civil service papers served 11, VIN inspections 3, new cases open 9, cases closed 11, vehicle crashes 3, SRO activities 171, bailiff contacts 110, livestock out 9. The federal contract with the USMS has been through the office and legal. I will return it today to the U.S. Marshal Service. And then the nurses, let's see, has 2 staff out and 1 at the doctor right now, so that only leaves 2 of us, so I'm needed here. Here's my report. Table awning project until next week. Trunk or treat was very successful, at least 200 kids in attendance. We had 10 satellite clinics, 331 flu shots given. Continuing flu shots every day on a walk-in basis, and COVID every Wednesday. You have anything else, David, or is it?
Yeah.
AMR?
Good morning, Galen Anderson with AMR. Just a short report today. For the past 7 days, we've had 10 transports. And so far at this point in the month, we're at 57 transports. So it's the busy volume over the last few months kind of tapered off here this month, a little bit slower. And still working to fill our remaining open paramedic positions. Other than that, just kind of business as usual. Have one, Jeff Boyd, one of our operations supervisors, contributed some time to help out with the CERT training that was going on these past few months, and that's been completed. And he said there was 10 people that went through it this year, which I think sounds like the largest class they've had in a while. And he said it was a great group of really engaged community members. So, and then he's going down to, we're sending him down to Texas just for an internal training for a few days. So it's like a 3-day leadership training that AMR is having all managers and supervisors go through. So he'll be out for that for a little bit. And can't think of anything else we have going on. Anything for me?
What, you talked about it a while back. You said you talked to the superintendent Pleasanton over the CERT or the STARS program. Have you guys got anywhere on that, or what
Yeah.
exactly are you guys going to do?
Yeah, so we have like a clinical affiliation agreement that we do with any school to basically let their students come and ride along on our ambulances.
So are they having classes there for for kids that want to be a paramedic?
Yeah, so it's high school students that'll go through and get their EMT training. And then I believe you have to be 18 years old to be able to test to get your actual certification. But if you're in the training program, you can do ride-alongs and get, really valuable experience. So my clinical department's working with him as far as the logistics and getting that agreement in place. It's with Dr. Allen. And so, yeah, that should.
Anybody know how many we have enrolled over there?
I'm not entirely sure. No. Yeah, it's been a few weeks since I've talked to him about. Last I knew, they were working on back and forth on the agreement, just to, that lays the groundwork for their students riding on our ambulances and waivers and all that. So, yeah, it should be a good experience.
Nope.
Thank you, Galen.
Have a good week.
Randy?
Morning, Commissioners. Weekly run report. We had 9 incidents for the last week. Brought our total for the year up to 472. Our average is 500 for the year, so we may be just a little above average. Depends how things go the rest of the year. So getting quite a few calls in still. I have a couple of applications I'd like approval on. First one is for Kristen Gillis. She'd be joining the 960 station, which is the Prescott station. That would bring their number up to 6 out of 15 open spots. Like a motion to accept her as a probationary firefighter pending all pre-employment screening.
I'll make that motion for Kristen Gillis for the Prescott Fire Department.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have Captain Jeff Wisdom here. He has one for Station 920.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm bringing this application over to, so there's no conflict of interest. And as I went through the interview process, I asked another captain from another station to join in on it. So I'm actually asking for Becky Hegwald to be on Station 920's roster. We are at 16 out of 22 right now before this
What's the,
application.
what did you think the conflict of interest was?
With her being the chief's wife,
Okay.
I didn't want to have any conflict of interest going on in there. So basically, other than me talking with him before I ever set the interview up of how he was going to feel about her being on the station and doing stuff, he was basically out of it until I told him that I was ready to bring this to you.
Good? Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
Did somebody make a motion? No, I'll make a motion that we hire. What was Becky
Becky Hegwald.
Hegwald? Oh, okay. All right.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Rest of my report is we met LAPC last Thursday. We had about a dozen attendees. We went through and nominated and voted in new chairperson, all that. We had some that hadn't transferred over. People left the county, left their positions.
Was somebody at least from each city represented?
No, we did not have anybody from Mountain City. Pleasanton was represented, Linn Valley, nobody from Lacine. Like I said, we had a dozen. We should have 20, 25. So we're going to go out and start knocking on doors and reaching out and try to get more people involved in it. It was a good meeting, went through, get stuff scheduled. We have to have tabletop exercises and exercises next year. First one we're looking at is spring. listened to some of the input from members that had been on before, some things that there's issues with that we're gonna work through. And like I said, hopefully we can get some more people in that, at those meetings. We may have one in December. Like I said, we want to reach out, get some of these people off the list that didn't show up. We had a bunch that did say they were going to show up that didn't show up. Just kind of reach back out to them and say, hey, you guys are needed on this. It's important you guys get
Who
here.
needs to be on it from each community? I mean, like the mayors or?
A mayor, a councilman, somebody that's going to be making a decision when something happens. Like Danny's on here, represent the county commission because you guys are the ones making decisions. So like I said, mayors, city councilmen, somebody that can make those decisions. And
And are they all aware of it? Is it something that we need to bring up at like the mayor's meeting and
they all received the emails, and we double checked with phone calls saying, hey, is this good person to contact? Yep. Good email they were all reached out to via email. So
That's what
Now-
this is all about. It's about crisis that may
right.
happen.
Pre-planning,
Yeah.
getting those people involved, people with the water districts, something happens to the water or anything. It's just little stuff like that.
But it's big if it happens.
It's
And the
big.
sheriff, is he part of it?
He is part of it.
Okay.
He was unable to attend.
Okay.
So,
But he knows what he's doing with his people. It's just,
right.
when do we keep you guys keep out of it and let him know, make sure he knows about what's
Yep.
going on.
So,
We get the power companies, anybody involved like that? Or?
yes, Evergy usually sends a rep. We talked to their rep the week before, and yeah, they'll be here, and then we never seen them that night.
Okay.
So, like I said, and even in the past meetings, a lot of these people were there, but they just,
Anybody reach out to Heartland as far as?
Heartland has been reached out to, Evergy, Heartland, and then there's another electric company, utility company that was Atmos had been contacted too. So, and we went over a list of everybody that had been on it before, see if anybody thought of anybody that we were missing that was here. The school districts were all represented. So, Galen touched about it. Emergency management just finished up a CERT program with 10 individuals, got them trained. It's more for help themselves out, but something that we can also call on these individuals in a crisis to come and help out. So class went real well. Linda Simmons also helps teach that. Jeff Wisdom and Jeff Boyd, AMR and Rural Fire help on that class teaching it. So it was a 4-week class. They had 9 classes. So things went real good for them on that. Over the last week or so, we've been out in the community, at schools for the trunk or treats, handed out candy. A lot of stations have been out. I want to thank the guys for putting the time in. The health department for helping with the trunk or treat last night in Pleasanton. Melissa had in her report, we had well over 200 kids. We handed out bags that had rural fire on them, had some safety, rural fire, fire safety stuff in it. Health department put some flyers in it for different health things, handed those bags out, went real well. So other than that, I don't have anything.
I don't have anything.
I don't even.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Gary, you have anything?
No, not really. I do have one question. The sheriff wanted to know if you intend to use that metal detector that's over there at the old court building. He was going to put it in storage to have it as a backup if we're not, but if we're going to use it in the new building or in the building over there, then
I think we kind of talked about that.
We had talked about it. I mean,
if you're going to use it, you have to have somebody staff it.
that would be the problem is we don't have anybody to staff it. There was some discussion of having it there just so people would see it coming in, but I don't, whatever you guys want to do.
Does he have it, he's wanting to know where to store it, or is he?
No, he's got a place to store it.
He just wants to be sure it's going to be stored?
But yeah, because if we're not going to use it, he wants to get it safely stored. If you are going to use it, that's fine. I mean, it's really
I
not
don't know what
his.
we use it for.
I don't think, yeah.
We don't have it in the rest of the courthouse, so I'd say store it.
Okay, I'll tell him.
say, I don't have anything else. Darren told me he's got a resolution when he comes in, and Jessica's wanting a few minutes of legal session when she comes in.
Gary, where are we at on the demo of the jail, the old jail?
We just got the site plan for the gas line this week. And I think we're probably ready to, we gotta make application for the actual moving. But I think that's just jumping through a hoop.
Yeah.
So I think we're ready to put the advertisement in.
Yeah, then the other question is, do we know yet when he's gonna get his dispatchers out of that building?
Well,
Cause that's been
yeah.
some of what we're waiting on
That's
too.
part of what we're waiting on. And also, if we get the contract, let's say the gas line contractor, we go out next week and get them lined up, they may not do it for a couple
That's what
months.
I understand. It'll be late, might be first year before we get the gas on.
Yeah. So we're ready to publish whenever we've got all those things done.
Are we going to publish it different, not just Linn County, but like Fort Scott? I know they got a few demo contractors there.
We can.
Jessica, you want to come ahead or you want to wait on? Logan? How much?
5 minutes. There.
Yeah, I think 5 will be plenty. Just a little information.
Ready for Sean.
And just let you guys know while we're waiting, we've been very busy with advance voting. We've mailed out 215. And when I left over this morning, we've had 180 walk-ins. So it's been real busy.
Morning, Sean West, Public Works Administrator. I have 3 burial permits this morning. The first is from Anderson County Rural Water for 9567 West 1150. And all of these have been reviewed by the shop foreman and myself. I'm sorry, that should have been burial permit 2022-23.
Okay.
Okay.
What was the number?
Probably about 2020, 23.
I'll make a motion that we pass resolution, or this, for this,
Burial permit.
burial permit, resolution number 2022-23.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The next is a burial permit for telecom construction for Lumen CenturyLink at 19045 Devlin Road. It's a bore with 3 pair of 20 gauge copper cable. And that's 2022-24.
Drawing on this one.
No drawing.
I don't see it.
And you want to look at it? I'll make a motion, we approve burial permit 2022-24.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The next is a burial permit, number 202225 for JMZ Corp. Fiber optic duct from Centerville to Blue Mound, bore and right-of-way crossings. This is multiple permits for the project that we're doing with the ARPA funds.
I thought we were gonna pass one resolution for all of those.
I believe that was the intention, but we got more requests.
I think the one we had already went from like Parker to Goodrich or something.
That's one we did last week, and then this one's a.
So there's still there's no fee on this one? Is that?
It's being done under the ARPA funds for the fiber optic improvements or internet improvements in that area. So it's our project as well as a grant project.
We waived the fees last week.
So we just have to approve it? I thought we approved one, or
We had to approve the burial permit and waive the fees.
I'll make a motion that we pass this burial permit and waive the fees on it. On the permit number is 2022-25.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, this morning, he was unable to be here. Roger Cartman dropped off a thank you to the commissioners in the shop for the pump, for the assistance with the cattle water issue. He was very pleased with the setup and wanted to thank the commissioners for their assistance with that project. Peppercorn Engineering has restructured their proposal, including hours for the solid waste system. And this is their proposal with the hours included on the bid.
You guys didn't find that one either.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Or this one.
So this was from last week that Jessica presented to us.
Yes. The original from last week is the same, other than they've broken out
Broke
the
out
hours.
ours. Now, that's approved to use ARPA money on that if we just go out for the study and then. Okay.
I need to sign all those too when we get done.
Okay. Then. What do you think?
I think you should.
What?
What do you think about that as far as? Let's do a study to see what it's gonna cost for the walking floor, traveling floor.
And how the different operations will compare.
So it's like, as I was gonna ask, it talks about the operational plan.
It's basically a cost benefit analysis of the equipment, the infrastructure, and the operation that would be needed to convert it.
Operations with this, or?
They'll have to compare it to like operations and then do an equipment assessment and other things at our operation than mileage assessments
How long
about.
will it take 'em?
I do not recall having that discussion. I don't believe it should take very long, but I would think 90 days would be sufficient.
The scope, estimate cost of converting existing infrastructure into a walking floor trailer system. And the estimate of cost to transport waste from Allen County landfill to reverse Crawford County.
Correct.
And then a benefit analysis. So this is just a breakdown of their costs, and this is what they're anticipating it's gonna be.
The back page is their prices for any job. Front page shows how many hours.
They have designated us.
Yeah.
It's a bid. I guess I can say the bid.
If you're not going to put it out for bids, yeah, which you don't have to in this case, so.
So is it that and that? 'Cause you
Yeah,
got
totally. That's what they gave us just last week together. I think that was last week's, I believe.
okay. Are we ready to talk about it?
I think.
I mean, based on the scope of work that I just mentioned, their price is the $12,600, right?
I believe so. I don't have it in front of me.
So, and then we asked them to break it down just so we could see what how many total hours they had for an engineer and then a technician. So they got us that. And, we're not putting it out for bid because they're our county on-call
Right.
Engineer. So I think it's something we got to do. I'm okay with it.
I'm good with it.
Go ahead, make the motion.
I'll make a motion that we allow Peppercorn Engineering to proceed with this study to determine if we need to do something different with our landfill operation.
In the amount?
Amount of $12,600.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next thing I had was last week, Jessica brought you some RFPs to go over for the buildings.
You want this one signed then? Does it need to be signed?
Yes.
When their study's all said and done, are they gonna push these out to like contractors, or is that our job?
That would be our job once we took the study, evaluated the change and decided we had the funding and the mechanism to complete the change, then we'd develop the RFP. I'm sure that they would assist with the RFP. The study should give us all the information for that, but we would have to first approve that their plan is something we want to and can fund.
And we have a sewer issue out there, right? I mean,
Well,
something's gonna.
currently, we've got a tipping floor drainage issue that has been redesigned, but we're asking them to look at basically our hauling operation, where we're going with our landfill products and whether that's cost effective, the equipment, the tonnage that's going, the tipping floor, and the walking floor trailer system. If we redesigned our operation, how much would it cost to do that, and how quickly would we recoup that money by cost savings?
And either way, we got to do something because KDHE they
Well,
to us, correct?
the biggest concern is we went up in our operational fees last year, 70 grand. So the operation that we're using is an outdated operation system, and it's going to continue to be ineffective and cost us money until we update our operational system. And that's what we're asking them to confirm and to show us cost on, but
Like Allen County is cheaper per ton to dump
yes.
than if if we can haul more at a time, would offset.
There,
But beyond that study or anything, KDHE came and they inspected our facility and
there were concerns under the,
holding off until we get this figured out, right?
there were concerns under the operation we're at now is permitted, but we will have further concerns in the future if we continue the same operation because we are behind the grade curve in the way we're doing things out there. We're within the guidelines and doing a job that is permitted, but the operation of the facility is going to continue to become even more outdated.
How's our cell? Is our cells full out there? Are we getting ready to build another one? Are we good? At the landfill? Our landfill, Prescott?
Last year, we opened up a cell.
We're good. For how long?
So I can't answer that. I'd have to ask Alan. Over the next 4 weeks, you will be hearing from Al, Todd, the shop foremans, and Sherry. I'm bringing them in so that they can update you and do all that for the end of the year.
Appreciate it.
As I said, Jessica gave you some RFPs to look over for the buildings. Our plan is to publish the RFPs and then while we're in the interim of publishing it, go back over, mark the buildings and the construction needing to be done or the demolition, and make a complete list. You'll see the RFPs were very general, to make a complete list of everything so that as we walk contractors through them, we can provide them a more detailed list and give everyone the same information. We'd also like to mark the buildings themselves. If we're taking out a wall, we might as well mark it so that each person that walks contractors through the building gives the same information and we get accurate bids for those.
You guys look them over, I guess you would have.
Yeah, when are you guys going to start doing that?
Start doing,
When are you going to start bringing contractors over?
we'll have to publish the RFPs, then we'll have to wait until we meet with contractors. I would say as soon as we get the RFP out, we'll complete the list, and I'd say anytime in a week, 2 weeks, we could start walking them through the building.
You'll have 4 separate RFPs, and I guess, is that the?
Yes, and the one for the courthouse is going to be unique in and of itself because we're going to have to use people that are skilled and on a list that has done historical buildings and are used to this type of project and working with the Historical Society to complete the project. We don't want to do work or complete work that hampers or impairs that and then has to be redone or pulled out and start elevating costs. So we need to work specifically with the contractor, and we do have a list from the state that have done these type of projects before.
Yeah, you know several of those companies.
Yeah. Did they help you guys? Did they give you any list of potential grants that we could apply for that, Jessica? There's
Yeah,
not a-
there's like the tax credit thing that you talked about. I think there was one other, but there's not like a big list. No.
I wonder what's the people that East Central Kansas or who writes our grants? Or yeah, region. Do you think they would know anything about anything like that? I got a few preservation companies I work through in Kansas City and I'll reach out to them too and ask them if they know of anything too.
Well, and I think once we get the RFP on the building out and we get some bids back, that'll also give us the numbers to push out to any grants that we need, because we're going to need enough information to know what we're asking for as well. So if we found those, we'd need to identify what we were asking for.
I've got a contact for an electrical company that I talked to when we were up at KAC, that I told him some of what we were getting ready to do, and they sounded interested too, so I'll get that to you.
Okay.
You guys good going up? First piece?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we allow Sean to go out, Jessica to go out with the RFPs for the 4 buildings, which are the
Old County Attorney Building,
district courts.
the former district court, the county courthouse, and the annex building.
And that's my motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next thing I have for you is Jessica's worked up with Al and Jeremy, bids for tires. They're looking for tires for, our trucks carrying the containers and also for 5 tons. She's got 2 bids. The first total being $8,823.64. The second being $11,343.64. Both bids are for 8 11R 22.5 and 12 11R 22.5. One's a D460 and one's a D450. These are all large truck tires. Al has agreed to, and our recommendation is for the first option, which is cheaper, because as one of the issues we talked about, the landfill and where we're dumping this, he does not want to buy a tire that's overly high priced and have the sidewalls punched out by going down to dump the trash. So he's okay with a less expensive tire.
But that's an issue down there, we're dumping, going into dump where we have to drive, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So I'd recommend that we do option A, which is
Who's it with?
Conlon.
Is that somewhere around here or not?
It's,
Can we hold off just a couple minutes on that and go do something else and come back and look at the approval on the tire? What was the size of the tire again?
we have 8 that are 11R 22.5s, and they are D460s, and 12 that are 11R 22.5, and they are D450s.
Okay. I just want to check something.
Okay.
Do you have the name of the other bid too?
I only have the 2 options. They're both,
Both Conlon?
Just a different grade, just brand of tire. Huh? Okay.
Okay.
the next thing I had for you was we got the highway funds, or the distribution of the highway funds. And that was in the amount of $131,937.71. I also have an invoice from Bettis for the Ungenhauer Road overlay. Originally, when we bid this, we were given advice to enter into an agreement with a fluctuating oil price, because we thought when we entered into the agreement, oil prices were going down, which would have brought asphalt prices down and the operation and the cost down. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So we signed an agreement that was fluctuating, and the price went up instead of down. But Bettis has given us the fixed pricing instead of holding us to that. Originally, our agreement allowed them to invoice us at $642,000. I'm sorry, $642,038. They have invoiced us for $630,323.79. They've basically taken over $10,000 off the invoice. as they were the ones that gave us the advice about the fluctuating versus the fixed rate. They went ahead and billed us at the cheaper of the two. Go ahead.
Can you give me that amount again?
The amount that I'm asking, and that they have billed us for is $630,323.79.
That was for Ungenauer?
Yes.
How far? Do you know
I-
how many miles it was? 5.7, and it looks really amazing, by the way. Well, today's the first day I drove on it, but it looked really good. I don't know how long's it been done?
3, 4 weeks, not.
Yeah, approximately a month.
So I've been around, but
So you need a motion to authorize payment of that.
I'll make a motion to authorize and pay Bettis Asphalt $630,323.79 for an hour road.
second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
What, did we hold, is there any retainage or anything held on that? Is there a warranty on it, or how does that work?
I will have to look into that. I don't originally believe that there was a retainage. It was project complete, project paid for. Although unlike the last project, I have been able to go back and forth and drive this project, as well as Todd, to look at it before coming to you today. With the issues we had with the mud flaps and things from the last one, we made sure that we drove it before I came to you.
So versus what we would have paid, I mean, we wouldn't have been able to do that complete overlay, would we have?
That we would not have been able to level that type of roadway. The self-leveling equipment is not something we would have been eyeballing at short stretches that are not as wide as what we're able to do, from my understanding. Last week,
Yeah, total prices. Wasn't the cheaper tires, 8,000 something?
for 20 tires, the cheaper option was $8,823.64. And that's 8 of the D460s and 12 of the D450s.
So it could be 3,000. Well, never mind.
Is that us going straight to the distributor? Is that like
that's-
Harlow going to him?
20.
I believe that's going straight to Conlon Tires at
11.
Birchland,
Okay.
and they will deliver.
It's cheaper. I'm okay now. I'm
Okay.
ready to make a motion on those tires.
Okay?
You want the least amount? The option was for who?
Conlon Tires for $8,823.64.
What were you looking at over there? What did you find?
I was just looking at a company that sells tires. I knew.
You're good with it?
Yep. That's my motion to put out for bid for that amount for those tires. And we're getting how many? 20?
20 tires.
20 tires.
And that covers everything that we have. Didn't we just buy some tires here a while back?
We did for road graders.
Okay,
These are for heavy trucks.
okay.
And we're asking basically to purchase those at that price.
Both the road foremans and everybody know about this, so we could,
Yes.
Yes, as of right now, that's what they want. We're going to try and get them to order ahead, and we'll do another RFP with the next one.
okay.
My motion's there.
All right, I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Last week, we had Lake Region Quarterly Meeting was held here in Mound City. That went well. We have an update from Sherry on the park, since she's going to be coming into you. I'm not going to read everything, but they have been doing a lot of tree work, a lot of pad work, and doing some maintenance now that we're into the season before the bad weather comes in. They've been doing a lot of maintenance work after the heavy camping season, and I'll let her talk about that when she comes in.
Have we heard anything from Evergy on the contract or?
No, I have not. And I'll continue periodically to reach out to them.
When's the last time that you had the opportunity to reach out to him?
60 days,
Okay.
I think. I'm ballparking
Turn
that.
any emails or anything?
No.
Nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
On the property and see what they say.
Noxious weeds, Johnny's been helping out, driving, since Mike left in solid waste. I do need, 5 minutes of executive session for non-elected personnel, but Johnny's been helping out as well as Carl, because of shortages with solid waste. They're moving, instead of this week, taking the exam for pest control. They're going to take it in December. They believe they'll be more prepared. We had December for a backup date so they could test now and try to get it before the end of the year. They'd like to test all at one time. Told them it was more than appropriate given the chores that they've recently taken on. And I'll talk to you about the plan I have for solid waste and covering that driver's position during executive session. Currently, that's all I've had for you.
I would like to get Whitaker, the aggregate company, somebody to come and talk to us. Is there a chance we could do that?
I will ask, I know Todd's trying to set up a meeting between him, and the aggregate companies. We've had conversation, but we haven't been able to get a date. I've asked about it at least twice, since our other.
You guys like to have them come in and talk to us?
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
We spent a lot of money there.
I'd like to have somebody come in from their upper management and could talk to all three of us if they would.
Okay. Would you like both aggregate companies or just one?
Yeah, I mean, we could. I mean,
Yeah, just make it maybe a workshop in late, like whenever we finish the meeting, we'll keep the meeting open, but, a workshop after that, so we can just pull them up to the table and talk to them. Like 11:30.
yeah, the road bosses and
Yeah.
Todd could be.
Todd and Harry and Mike.
Sure.
Okay. I will start working on that immediately.
Thank you. There.
Good morning, Darren with Planning and Zoning. I bring to you today the resolution number 2022-35 for the sanitation inspections. A resolution amending the sanitation code of Linn County, Kansas regarding inspections of holding tanks and septic systems upon the sale of properties. Whereas the Board of Commissioners of Linn County, Kansas has established a sanitation code applicable to certain planning and zoning functions, and whereas it is the desire of the Board of Commissioners for licensed sanitation haulers operating in Linn County to inspect holding tanks and septic systems upon the sale and purchase of properties in Linn County, Kansas. Now, therefore, it is resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Linn County, Kansas, the Sanitation Code established Article 4, Section 1 through 4.7 is hereby amended to read in its entirety as followed. Property resale. Whenever any property connected to or served by a private sewage disposal system is offered for or subject to a contract of sale, an inspection of the sewage disposal system is mandatory. The system must pass inspection by licensed sanitation hauler prior to occupancy. Any such inspection for property resale is subject to a $50 fee established by the Board of Commissioners, which fee shall be collected by the inspector hauler and submitted to the county. This inspection shall not constitute nor be deemed a warranty, or neither the inspector, the administrative agency, nor any other official of the county shall be liable for any future failures of the system or for other claims arising out of the inspection. Upon completion of the inspection, a completed sanitation inspection result form reporting the results of the inspection will be sent to county sanitation officer by the licensed sanitation hauler, along with the $50 fee. Blank result forms are available upon request in the county's Public Works Office. Incidents of the report shall not relieve any person compliance with requirement of the sanitation code. If any septic system fails the inspection, the buyer or seller of the property may appeal the failure by making requests for a second inspection performed by the county sanitation inspector. Said appeals shall be made by submitting to the sanitation department a written request for such reinspection, along with a $300 reinspection fee. The resolution shall become effective upon its approval and publication in the official newspaper of the county.
You said an inspection by the hauler. Can an installer inspect it too, or no?
No, just the hauler.
It's got to be pumped, right?
Because it's got to be pumped and they're there.
Do you think we ought to have a 3-part form for them to fill out so that the inspector can keep a copy, the homeowner can get a copy, and they send a copy to you?
That's probably a good idea. That way everybody's got copies, unless the haulers make copies of it before they send it out.
Yeah, I just try to make it as simple form as possible.
Right, because they could fill it out on location, tear it off and give the
How do you guys feel about us where we actually open the septic tanks up? I've had people tell me this, that we actually open them, and that there's a pump out to where you could drop a camera down and look around.
So we make them open the manhole cover. They've got risers on them to make them easier to pump out.
Right.
But we have the hauler dig up the manhole cover, and it's usually 20 by 20 or 20 inches round. And you can see in there pretty good, and then we drop our camera down and take.
What I'm saying is I've had people tell me that drop a camera down the pump out hole and look around versus open them up, and we're doing more damage sometimes by taking the tops off. What do you think?
I think it's good to open them up like we do, only because you can see walls that are cracked that you might not see with the camera down. I don't know. But sometimes the walls cave in when they're
Right.
pumping, and they can see that.
Right.
Sometimes they got to get down. And most of the time, for replacements, they have to put baffles in. That's the most common thing that they do. I felt that this was important because, and we talked about it a little bit this morning, you may go a week or two with maybe one inspection, and then all of a sudden you're inundated with 7 or 8 that needs to be done that day, or that week and the next 2 days. And it's not the real estate's fault, it's not the seller or the buyer or anyone's fault. It's when they're getting ready to close, that has to be done.
I think it's 10 days.
Yeah,
Correct.
and so if all that is taken care of by someone we approve, it takes all that burden off of you. And the only thing I would say is probably, and this is over in the courthouse in general with personal property and DMV, but with you would be, I guess, register deeds to ensure that they did have that inspection done.
Correct.
And I don't think we've ever done that. We've never ensured that, for whatever reason, that property changed hands, didn't get a septic inspection.
Oh, I see what you're saying. When they come in to
Yeah.
record the deed.
I'm not sure I know how to fix that problem.
Is that not turned in with like your title work and stuff?
What's that?
Is that not turned in with like when you?
But the title company's not responsible for that.
So I did run into that exact same thing this past week where a property was bought by cash, no realtors.
Right.
And they didn't know that they needed an inspection, and they figured it out shortly after. But when properties change hands without a realtor involved, some people just don't know.
Well, and sometimes it just doesn't happen, period.
Correct.
And so,
Right.
in basic terms, now it's the real estate agent or the homeowner's responsibility to hire a pumper that is certified by us to do that work, and then they turn it into you.
Yes.
In the same, it works out, that's the way it's done in most counties. Our county was not, I don't want to say it's an exception, but it's one of the fewer counties that doesn't do that.
How are we gonna verify this gets done? I mean, like he says on,
It's gonna be mailed to you, right? The check's gonna be mailed and,
but if it's on a cash deal, what happens then?
they don't take cash. I mean,
No, are you talking about just the sale? Well, we miss,
This has got,
the bad thing is we miss those now unless like Rick said, it's reported at the Register of Deeds or something.
is
Yeah.
there something we gotta do there in order when it's transferred
we
title?
we need to figure it out, but I mean, the title company's not responsible for any of that stuff, so it's really the individuals, and they may not know.
And see, the registered deeds can't refuse to record something.
Right, exactly.
I mean-
Maybe they can, I don't know.
They-
I mentioned them only
Yeah.
because that's where it's recorded at, and I didn't know if there was any assistance they could at least provide, say,
Yeah, they could make sure they have notice,
yeah.
but
I don't know.
they couldn't say, we're not gonna record this until you get your.
Yeah, I don't know if it would work or not work, but, it's just a thought there.
So,
And
certified vendors do you have that's capable of doing these inspections for us as of now?
right now, there's 4.
4 of them, and they're all aware of how we want to do it?
Yeah, I've spoke to all of them, but this week, after this, if this passes, we're going to bring them in and sit down and talk to them and explain what this is, and that way everybody's on the same page. But the people that I've talked to are all for it.
So that would be responsible, the pumper will be responsible about getting us our money.
Yes.
Okay.
And to answer your question, those clean outs, some of them are 6-inch pipes, some of them are 4-inch pipes, and trying to get a camera down a 4-inch pipe. Anyway, the camera that I use is
Okay.
almost impossible.
And I've asked about this a few times about us only allowing concrete tanks. Is that something we can talk about when we get them all in here too, get their professional opinion on it?
I've spoke to a lot of them, and a lot of them would like to see poly tanks, which we've spoke about before. Poly tanks passed to be used. Johnson, Miami County, I think Anderson County allows, there's not too many counties anymore that doesn't allow poly tanks. They've got certain brands that they have to use from certain manufacturers.
Certain sizes that we would mandate.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, they just couldn't go out to Tractor Supply and grab a tank and throw it in the ground. There would be, that would be part of the,
So this is just on sales. As far as new construction inspections,
We already have.
we'll still handle as a
doesn't
county.
ask you- like, so if they have to replace one, then you get involved?
Yes. So if one fails and they don't require reinspection, but they've still got to come in and get a permit to either fix the one they've got or put in a new one. And then we would go do that inspection as a new install.
Which this resolution should help, like real estate agents and everybody
It
get.
helps him too, a ton.
Yeah. Because there's so much back and forth of trying to coordinate the pump trucks and me. It makes it hard.
I think it's a good idea. I would just like to see when we get him in here to talk about the poly tanks too,
Okay. Yeah.
That's,
So like I talked to you this morning about, and I want to make sure, is just because a tank fails, which most of them, probably 50% do instantly because they need a baffle.
Right.
That they're okay to go and repair that baffle. Ever who's going to pay for it is irrelevant to the county.
Right.
As long as it gets repaired. I just don't want that $300 to get confused where you failed. Now we'll have to make an appointment. I'll bring a baffle out. It's going to cost you $300 plus the cost of me coming back out and putting the baffle in. I don't want that.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And we'll explain that when we bring them in.
Because that's the worst thing that can happen. Because that's not really what we want.
Right. Right.
Okay. Okay.
I'll make a motion that what's the resolution number?
2022-35.
I'll make a motion that we pass resolution number 2022-35 for the sewer, or what is it?
Tank inspections for sale of properties.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And would you look at that poly tank thing? I would be open to talking about that too.
Yeah, I've got information in there. I've been gathering information, and I've got a list from other counties on what type of tanks they allow. So when we meet on that, I can bring that.
And then once, now we got this passed, make sure the title companies in our county at least get notified, as well as maybe putting it out there to, I know it's going to be in the paper, put it on our website. It's a pretty important thing.
Okay, after we meet with that, I'll make sure that happens.
Thank you.
I saw, during, I don't even know what day it was. I think it was, I saw him going around with Cop, is that his name? Cal, and it looked like they were having a good time and figuring a lot of things out. So I thank you for taking him around and showing him. And I don't know how it ended for you, but it looked like you guys were getting a
When's
lot
your
of
first meeting start with him?
So I met with him last Tuesday. He came to town. We basically drove around the counties, and he just got ideas from what we were thinking. And November the 10th will be a workshop with the Planning and Zoning Commission and him to discuss a lot of things.
How long do you think this will take?
He's hoping less than 6 months.
It was nice to see him out getting involved, and I think we made the right decision. So
Yeah.
He, Darren brought him over to visit with me. We visited at length. And he wanted to know how you wanted him to communicate. I said that I thought probably until we get close to a finished product, you'd prefer most communication to go through channels, like we've been doing with lots of things, rather than having him trot down here to meet with you every little bit. But, so that's what we'll be working, how we'll be working.
I've got one more thing. I got an email this morning from the company that we're buying the baskets for the Centerville sewer system. They were shipped. They should arrive Wednesday or Thursday, and then they'll contact me to set up a time for installation.
Okay.
That's all I got.
You guys got anything else?
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Darren.
So Sean needs a little bit of, copy. Are you gonna publish that or you want me to? Okay. Sean needed a little bit of personnel. Jessica needed a little bit of legal time.
You need anything?
I'm,
You need it? So I've got 5 minutes for Sean for non-elected personnel and 5 minutes for Jessica for legal.
I'll second. So did you already make a motion?
No, that's my motion, 10 minutes.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Jessica, did you get that one? Thanks.
Go ahead. Thank you.
I know.
Yeah.
I tried to help you.
Conversation, I just need to be able to hook up with it.
I don't think you might know.
We got some action.
Sean, go ahead.
As we spoke earlier, we've completed our first operator through the CDL program, Zach Daniels, and I would like to move him from 8A to 8C, which is 1485-38 to 1509-24. He will also be moved over to cover the shortages at the solid waste and be a driver there.
I'll make a motion we do that.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got nothing.
You don't have anything, man. You got anything? You're looking rough.
You go find a bed.
I'll make a motion we adjourn. What do you got?
Depends on what you write in the paper next week.
You sure? Sure. Okay. I'll make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just-